I'm going to turn this sheet of wood that I'm hiding from the rain under my hoodie into this, and this, and this. And you can see how I do it via the camera fixed to my face. Hello and welcome. My name is Panel. I'm a full-time professional artist since 2012, and I use wood and spray paint and animation to make things, all at the bottom of my garden in Birmingham, England, in a 3x6 metre workshop. So come and join me as I make something. It's currently the middle of October, and I've decided I'm going to make some Christmas decorations. The plan is to have them on sale for 48 hours as a timed release. But I need to make a few before the release so I can, actually show people what they get if they order one. I also need to make some to see if it's actually a good idea. These two are different sizes, although not by much. I just want to judge what feels right. I don't want to make a big honking Christmas decoration that sticks out like a sore index finger. And I enjoy a good box, so I'm spraying some packaging too, which I figure is handy for when it's in storage for 11 months of the year. Let those all dry. A resupply of my favourite spray cap. It's meant to be 100 caps, but it doesn't look like 100. It's fine, just put them all 95, 100, 101. One extra. Okay, well that makes me look very, very petty. In you go. Copper sheets. I'm invited to a group show at Graffiti Street's lovely new gallery in Chichester on the south coast of England. And the optional theme is metal. So I want to corrode these little sheets on one side, fold them, and then use the little folded pieces as a plan for some wooden sculptures. Internet says mixing vinegar and salt will do the job. So let's see how that goes. Back to the Christmas decoration. What green is going to go best with it? Let's go with the more natural green. You see, we don't put a Christmas tree up in our house. We've used a deer for years now, and I want an appropriate way to display the decoration. So I'm spraying my arm green. This looks quite Grinchy, or like the Hulk. Too late now. Okay, that'll do. And you gotta have lights on a Christmas tree. So sorry, it's not obeying. Hear it stop spinning. And so here it is. Hopefully I've not sprayed my arm for nothing. I need to make 211 Christmas decorations, which is like 4 times as many as I expected to sell. It's a very nice problem to have, don't get me wrong, but I need an efficient way to spray so many. Each one of these boards takes 2 hours to cut, and after defective cuts are picked out, I get about 35 decorations. A quick initial sand on the front and back helps, but everything's going to need a hand sand too. Let's take a look at that copper. There's a little bit after a few days. Nope, no good, it rubs off. Okay, another part of the internet says you can combine water and Miracle Grow. Let's see if this solution is the solution. Maybe don't have them submerged this time? Oh, and I'm also making some clocks. I first made an edition of clocks a year and a half ago, because my workshop has no windows and I'd always lose track of time. Could I have just bought a clock? Sure. But would I just buy a clock? No. Not if I could make it. This is a fact my other half knows very well. Anyway, clocks. That's 3 projects on the go now, so I'll show things chronologically as I work on them. Which may feel fragmented to watch, but it's a nice representation of what it's like being a professional artist. Decorations. Which one of these decoration-shaped holes will best hold a Christmas decoration? There's one that's plus 0mm larger than the actual decoration, which doesn't fit. Plus 0.25mm is incredibly snug. Plus 0.4mm goes in well, but it's difficult to take out. Plus 0.5mm might be the one. Virtually no wiggle room. Plus 0.6mm. Goes in but too wiggly. Yep, plus 0.5mm is perfect. But why am I doing this? Well, because now I can cut a wood sheet holder to help me batch spray 12 decorations in one go. See how it lines up to the stencil? Clock base is all cut too. Quicksand. And initial coat of paint. Do the backs first and then let them dry before doing the front and edges. Copper is slowly getting somewhere, but still not enough. What if vinegar and miracle grow? I don't know, let's see. Alchemist I am not. I need to screw the decoration holder to some plywood because this battered old tabletop isn't perfectly flat, and the decoration faces need to be flush with the holder's face for a crisp stencil result. Let's have a look. Okay. So the decorations are still 1mm or so too deep into the holder, which is because all timber and sheet dimensions are made within a certain tolerance and are never exact or consistent. This is a lesson you learn early on in woodwork. Just because it says it's 9mm thick does not mean it's exactly 9mm thick. And you just have to learn to adapt. So adapt I will. I just need to find the perfect spacer. What else? Oh! Washers. Yeah, this should do. 2 in each? No, 3. More stable. Okay, let's test this. Yeah, that's perfect. Actually, I'll flip the holder because I need to spray their backs first. 12 little logos and 12 little edition numbers. Well, the /211 bit. The actual numbering will be done by hand. Lovely stuff. Okay, now I can spray the front faces. This is like the easiest puzzle ever. Get some repositionable spray adhesive on the back of the stencil. Make sure it's lined up to all the decorations. And now spray the 2 registration marks, so I can place the stencil next time much faster. And then I like to cover them up with a penny so the reg mark isn't sprayed over and over again, losing its crispness. Then building up the white layer with light coats. And a quick blow dry. And because the tolerance of the holder is perfect, none of the decorations peel away with the stencil. Back to clocks. I need to cut something into their faces. You see, I had the CNC cut the reverse side. It cut from this side. It milled out the inset area for the clock movement to fit into and the circle shape. And that's that. But now I need areas milled out for the hour marks on the face. Here, look. These are the hour marks. But a circle is hard to orientate and register on a CNC. So, I cut this square puck, and this milled out area the size of the puck. Hammer it in. Now I can place the clock onto the puck. It won't move. And I can mill out the little shapes to help place the hour marks. Now I can just take this off. Okay, a bit tight. Yeah, that is on good and proper. Oh, pry it off with a ruler. Please don't break, please don't break. Hup. Okay, good, it all looks fine. That'll do. Black layer next for the decorations. Pennies back on. Nice light coats, even lighter than the white, because black paint is thicker. How are we looking? Perfect. Into the clean drawers to dry and repeat it all. Oh, and 211 boxes. I had the good sense to make the box graphics a single layer, so registration doesn't have to be super uber perfect. Good, good. And the backs too. Clock faces are all cut, and I can finish off this initial coat of paint. So guess what I'm going to do with this salt? Yep, the copper. It's coming along, to be fair, but I'm done listening to the internet. I'm just going to vibe it. But leaving the sheets exposed to the air does seem to be helpful. And get them in front of the drying lamp whilst the clock faces dry too. I'll keep this for later, I still need it for one other clock thing. Time to cut the clock hands and figure. Right, let's take a look at that copper. So actually, no, that's fine. It's acrylic spray paint, so it'll just sit on top. And there's another coat of paint coming anyway. Kitchen roll, kitchen roll. Anyway, it looks like heat was the missing ingredient, and... oh, that's not good. This is getting boring. Yep, this one too. Okay, what can I do? Heat. Really wish I hadn't wiped them all down. Can I cheat this process? The answer is yes. Oops, salt can burn. It looks great actually, but I've just realised I'm not going to be able to fold these. Right, I don't care right now, I will come back to this. The clock hand stuff is done cutting. I've milled out most of the wood from the back to make them lighter. And now I've got the hour marks cutting. That'll be done in a moment. Give the clocks a quick sand and file off the little bits I made the CNC leave on each piece, because otherwise they're entirely free of the main sheet and can get sucked away by the vacuum, which is not helpful. Not that it looks like the vacuum is working anyway. Why is it so dusty? Maybe the cyclone dust collector is full? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that is full. Much better. So here's my hour mark test. They're all still stuck to this sheet because having them in a row should make it easier to sand and spray them. Yep, looks good and way quicker than doing them one by one. And then, let's see, I can cut them off. Lovely. And then it just goes in like this. Oh, that's way too wiggly. Let's cut some different sizes. And label them, otherwise it's pointless. Okay, that one works. That's all the hour marks cut. Glad I did a test first because this was a 4-hour cut. Yes, we've had first sanding, but what about second sanding? So I managed to gather myself and ordered a thinner copper sheet. So thin actually, I should be able to trim it down with a blade. Oh yeah, that's good. I can definitely fold this one. Okay, 3 pieces. And a little cocktail of vinegar Miracle Grow. Stirred, not shaken. And to give the copper more grip, more tooth, I'll sand it. Nice thin coat, no submersion. Please, please, please work. Well, would you look at that? And it stays on too. I'll do some scoring now before the patina is done. Don't want it all flaking off as I score it after it's all finished. Yeah, that bend's nice. More coats of the delicious corrosion cocktail. Back to the hour marks. The first coat of paint helps harden the fluffy sides you tend to get when MDF is machined, which then makes it easier to sand off. Then, their final black coat. Time to fold the copper. The first copper sheets were 1mm thick, which I was like, yeah, I can bend that. And obviously couldn't, but this 0.3mm stuff is great. So here's the folded pieces. Now to measure them and recreate in wood. I'll save you some time, and just like that, I'm now giving the shapes their coat of copper chrome. And the figures for each folded piece need stenciling. Now, which bits go with which? Last thing I want to do is assemble them wrong or spray the wrong side with the patina effect. And that's how the figures fit in. But like I say, need to spray the patina effect now. You. And you. Yeah, that works. And you. Building the colours up according to the original metal piece. Bit of water. Then spraying. Gives me some organic kind of masking. I don't tend to do a lot of texture, messy work. So it's fun to be this rough with a piece once in a while. There we go. Now the others. Okay, that was a lot of paint. Gotta let them dry. Might as well make the wooden crates for them then. Screwing 2 sheets together before cutting it down to size means I cut the top and bottom lids for each crate in one go, which saves me a bit of time. Right, let's put it all together. Let's not forget the little guy. The figure for this piece doesn't have a lot of contact with the folded part, so I like to take small nails, clip the heads off, whilst it's wrapped in a glove so it doesn't all go flying off. Don't need those in the bin. Drill a couple holes into the figure. Add some glue. And insert the nails into the hole, pointy end sticking outwards. Bring the figure back to the piece, line it up, and then press it together real hard. Now I've got marks for where to drill more holes on the other piece. More glue, more glue, and then I just line everything up. Nice. And the last one has enough contact that glue will be more than enough here again. Glue all dry, time to find the centre of balance. There we go. I've got some little rectangles from a previous project, and using my keyhole jig, I can cut a nice keyhole into the rectangle. Then some glue and some screws do the job. Screwing this extra square here will keep the piece parallel to the wall too. Good camera time. I like that the wood pieces are based on actual bits of folded metal, and the real pattern on the metal is better than what I almost did, which was just spray the damn things with teal paint. These are now available from the fantastic Graffiti Street crew, who you can find at graffitistreet.com. And in case you're curious, here are the wooden crates. Along with the packaging foam, I also cut on the CNC. I love a good unboxing, so I tried to do the same with my own work too. Always good to let collectors know what side to open a crate from, and a little diagram on the back to remind me of what's in each crate. There we go. 2 out of 3 projects done. So the clock has the phrase, "Inspiration exists, but it must find you working," which I think is a great sentiment. And that's on the face of the clock. The text is too small to stencil, so I'm screen printing it. Remember that puck that I was using to mill the clock's face earlier? Well, now I need it to register the clocks for printing. Now I can move the clock and board into position to line up with the hour marks exposed into the screen as well. Okay, everything's lined up, screw it down. Then tape off all the bits I don't want ink to pass through. The ink is mixed by my lovely other half, who always handles the colours when we print. And there, that's it. The quote is on the clock. When screen printing is going well, it is bliss, which is rarely the case. But this was an easy one. The screen needs cleaning as well before the ink dries into the mesh. And in theory you can reuse it indefinitely, but in my experience I end up tearing it in one dumb way or another. This is a washout booth that I made that's in the garden. Is it janky? Yes. But did it cost me the 1/5 of the price of a commercial washout booth? Also, yes. Anyway, what's next? Oh yeah, second sanding on the clock hands. Check the tolerances to how it fits onto the clock movement. The hour hand attaches to the hour spindle via a push fit. It's just held with tension. Looks good and level. Then I'm using a ball bearing in the figure to attach it to the minute hand via a dowel. If that's confusing, it will make more sense in a minute. The hour marks are nice and dry. Time to cut them off their base. And glue them into the clock. Each little clock movement packet comes with various nuts and fixings, but I only need one of them, this small nut. It goes into the minute hand. Obviously glue it into place first, but this nut will then screw onto the minute spindle on the clock movement. This little sticker will protect the nut from paint and dirt gumming it up in the meantime. Now everything gets its final colour. I'm pleased with this trick. Stick delicate pieces to tape, and then, when you need to move them whilst they're still kind of wet, it's easy. Let everything tan for a few hours. Okay, gluing the ball bearing into the figure's hand, like so. I generally make everything I need out of wood when making a piece, so it's interesting to work with clocks, nuts and bearings from elsewhere. it does make me appreciate how difficult it must be to assemble something as complicated as a car, or even a toaster. Anyway, now I can stencil the figures. Next up is gluing the frame to the main clock base. This deserves a precision squat. Nearly there now. So, about that ball bearing. This wooden dowel goes through here and into the ball bearing. Mark the length, trim it down. Yep. Glue inside the ball bearing. I'm using a lollipop stick as a spacer between the minute hand and figure to make sure there's enough space between both of them. Precision squat time again. Perfect. Let's move this to the clean drawer and not drop it. The sides and back need spraying with the final light grey colour. Oh, definitely got to mask this hole off, otherwise it'll just spray through to the other side and ruin the face. And mask the face off too. Glue the clock movement in. Snug as a hug with a bug. Just realised I should have sprayed this stencil before gluing all the movements in, but nothing a knife can't solve. This stencil has the title, edition number, date, and my tag on it. Remember to mask everything off, like my sanity depends on it, because it does. What I didn't remember to do though is film myself putting the clock hands onto the clock movement. Fortunately, I've got the footage from the first edition I made, so please ignore how the colours are wrong. But our hand push fits on, then this nut screws onto the clock too. Set it to midday, and it is done. And before you say anything, I ran tests and the clock remains accurate over time, so the weight saving efforts on the figure and hands were worthwhile. So there we go, that's a taste of what I've been up to since the last long video. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment and I will do my best to answer them. And thank you deeply and profoundly to everyone who bought a Christmas decoration, a clock, or any other fun thing I've made. You are the best. Thank you so much. See you in 2025.